was you keep urban around the incorporated cities and the unincorporated town sites. You put these commercial enclaves or industrial enclaves out, keep them separated. Over time, they may grow together just like Imperial and El Centro have grown together, but for the time being, you have the separation, and you allow for organized, sustainable growth and sustainable economic development in these enclaves. That's my vision, or my version of history. I want to talk about the impacts. I realize this is EEC. We're concerned about the ag impacts. We do have ag ground that's outside of the gateway, and it's adjacent to this. Residential and ag are never compatible. There's always issues, even though there's a right to farm ordinance. Once you put residential next to ag, there's always going to be issues. Dust, it's downwind from the feed yard. Knievelbard feed yard is to the west of this project. Agricultural noise, you have airplanes, tractors, irrigation pumps that run at night. You have pesticide applications, even though as farmers we follow the law, you always have people that are concerned. You can smell the pesticide. Residential communities tend to be concerned about those things. We stack commodities on our ditch banks like haystacks. When they catch fire, you have smoke. And we had an issue a few years ago at the El Toro where they had a haystack fire that took quite a while to put out, and you had dust and ambers and that flowed in west into a residential subdivision and caused a lot of concern. Economic issues there. This is fairly close to Alamo River, which is in the environmentally sensitive area. That's on the east of the project. Heber Beach State Park, I guess now, or used to be a county park. I'm not sure what the designation is. I don't know what, I'm sure the EIR will address the impact on that. Traffic impacts, you're going to have more vehicle traffic merging with truck traffic on Highway 98. And I think the Highway 98 widening, even though it's on, I was at the IBAG meeting last night, even though it's on the near term wish list for IBAG, it still could be as far off as 2015, even if the money's available. Other health issues out there. My brother lived out there for years on Highway 98. Finally moved out after the traffic on 98 got so bad, but we farmed out there. Mosquitoes are a major problem out there in the spring, summer, fall. I don't know, mosquito abatement, if that's going to be addressed in the EIR. West Nile, virus is always a concern with mosquitoes. In the New River, you have a lot of wildlife, coyotes, skunks, etc. tend to carry often rabies. You're going to have a residential community next door with pets. So, you have that potential. I hope that's addressed in the EIR. Soils, you are in a seismic zone there. I'm sure that'll be addressed, especially on the east side of the project. I've been through a couple of major earthquakes here in the valley. 1979, major one. We had, but you could see the fault lines out there. There was damage to the highway, not so much damage that you couldn't drive it, but the highway does move every time we have a major quake, and it goes through that area, mainly on the east side of that area between where this project is and the Alamo River. Hopefully that'll be addressed. Land uses, we're concerned about the conflict between agriculture and residential. We don't think they're compatible. As property owners out there, we'd like to see the residential stay within the designated urban areas and spheres of influence and allow for growth to develop naturally, not to leapfrog out of that area. We're concerned about hemming in the port of entry and strangling future economic development there. And we have conflicts with the current general plan. I discussed that earlier. Public services, right now, you have limited fire and police protection there. It's provided by the county. There's a designated fire or public safety site in the future in the port of entry that my family's dedicating to the county. I don't know when that's going to be built on. I'm sure that's pretty far into the future. I don't know the Plexico School District, how they're going to handle busing, the busing issue there. I don't think they're going to build a school so that puts more buses on the road, more traffic. Recreation, they have plenty of parks on the pictures and the soccer fields. My concern is there going to be any organized recreational in that area like you have in your towns and your cities. Calexico has always had a top-notch Pop Warner program, Little League program. All of my brothers and I went through the Little League program. So you develop a residential enclave like this 7 miles out of town. Even though you have parks and soccer fields, do you actually have organized recreation? Transportation, currently there's no public transportation to the port of entry. I know there was something in the paper, there's a local transportation providers negotiating something to the port of entry, but right now there isn't. There will be, therefore, increases in traffic. You'll have more cars on Highway 98. That widening, as I said earlier, isn't scheduled for quite a while. Conflict between autos and trucks. That's a lot of truck traffic on 98. So you're just putting more cars on the road. Utilities, utilities are going to be provided through the Gateway County Service area. Recently there was a problem in Heber between what I'll call Old Heber and New Heber. There was a conflict that some of the new folks that moved in didn't feel they were represented by the Community Service Area Board. I know the Board of Supervisors sits at that board now. I don't know what would happen in the future if this became reality, if the board would continue to serve that, the Board of Supervisors would continue to serve as the board, or whether one would be created and you'd have a political conflict between maybe the industrial users and the urban users. At the scoping meeting, I brought up the CFD funding. I'm concerned about that. If the developer does request Community Facilities District funding for infrastructure, that does pass on to the property owners. And they have said this is an affordable housing project. So I'm assuming the folks that would be buying there would be, lower income. What kind of burden does that create for them on property taxes, passing on the Community Facilities District funding, if they still pursue that? Just a few things I picked up. And just to expand on the affordable housing, a gentleman spoke at the scoping meeting, a former city councilman from Calexico, that he felt this. He was excited about this project because it was affordable housing and we really needed it here. And the question I have is, if they're really excited about affordable housing, where's the affordable housing unit in Calexico? Where's the affordable housing unit in the other urban areas? Why put it out 7 miles out of town, away from the commercial services that they require, to that segment of the population that may have the least means to transport, find transportation into the city to acquire those services. If we need affordable housing unit, to me it makes more sense to have it in the urban area, because those are the people that are probably going to be most in need of public transportation, most in need of public recreational services, most in need of existing commercial development. They're not going to want to wait for a grocery store to be built for them. I think in planning terms, that might be what they call NIMBY, NIMBY. Nobody wants to say it, but it's not in my backyard. Maybe I'm the same way. Maybe I don't want it in my backyard because I have agricultural property there. But we would be concerned about this, whether it was affordable housing or it was a gated community, because it's just, in our opinion, isn't compatible with agriculture. And we'd like to see the agriculture unit where it's at, the industrial, commercial at this fall, at the port of entry, given the opportunity to grow, and let the cities handle the residential growth in an organized, planned manner. And if in a generation, Calexico grows east, and the port of entry meets up somewhere, good planning will allow for a buffer, so we can be compatible. It'll allow that to happen naturally if it's not leapfrog out there and try to force the issue. Let's not build a residential community and hope that the commercial that they need follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Any members, do you have anything else? Anybody else from the community want to speak? All right, thank you very much.
No, I already submitted my